While copy is an important part of an effective landing page, just having a wall of text appear when your page loads is not a great user experience. At this point, we need to go ahead and add some images that will accompany each piece of copy. So why bother with images? Well, there are a couple reasons. Images will balance the page by separating the various blocks of text, making the copy easier to read and making the landing page look more professional. This helps increase customer trust and makes your site more user-friendly. Additionally, images can visually demonstrate or support what is being said in the copy, expand on what is being said, or both. In many cases, they are much more efficient means of delivering some information about your product to the user and are much easier to process. Both of these things also have the potential to increase your conversion rate, which is never a bad thing. So what you'll learn: by the end of this module, you'll have learned the following: what a good landing page image looks like, the two types of landing page images, where to find good landing page images, and picking the best images to pair with your copy. Let's get to it. So, although you might be tempted to scour the internet and pick out any images that remotely matches the content of your landing page, we strongly recommend taking the time to curate the best images possible. Although using any sort of image is better than not using any images at all, this is only true to a degree. By using the wrong types of images, you can actually hurt your brand appearance and consequently lower your conversion rate. A great image needs to meet the following conditions. It's a high quality and high resolution image. The image should have no external branding, and there should be no AliExpress style editing, obvious green screen. So let's take a look at a few examples of images that you should stay away from. So here's an example of a low quality image. Although the bottom portion is a high quality render, the top right is slightly pixelated and has a low resolution. We recommend only using high resolution photos to keep your site looking professional. Now here's an example of an image with a watermark. Although it is graphically pleasing, we recommend that you never use another brand's watermark. It will only detract from the customer's perceived value and trust of your brand, which can actually prevent them from making the purchase in the first place. And finally, here's an example of a big no-no: a low resolution edited photo with some poorly done cropping and paintbrush work. Now that you have an idea as to what types of images you should avoid, let's go ahead and talk about the two types of landing page images you'll be working with. There are essentially two different kinds of landing page images you're going to be using: product images and stock images. Depending on which piece of copy you're pairing your image with, some types of images work better when attempting to illustrate things like product functionality or technology. So let's jump into the two different types of images so you have an idea of what's going on. So product images. These are images that are either photographs or renderings of your product. They are typically used to signify some sort of feature or benefit of the product. Below is an example of what a model photo looks like that we would typically use in the product images catalog. And here's an example of what a product render looks like. We always use the product render as the first photo on the lander. Now, stock images and lifestyle photographs. These are images that don't necessarily include your product, but relate to it thematically or emphasize your customer's pain points. And as you can see, your stock images can vary widely in style. They can be anything from 3D renderings to lifestyle photography. So where can you find good landing page images? There are a couple different places you can go to in order to find your images. These include the following: Alibaba, AliExpress, Adobe Stock, and Unsplash. For our product landing page, we typically like to use AliExpress images for the product landing page. To get your images from AliExpress, simply navigate to AliExpress product listing and then scroll down through the descriptions to find your images. If there aren't any good images on AliExpress, we recommend checking out Alibaba. The only downside to using Alibaba is that your images will download in WebP format. This will require you to convert them before you can upload them to Shopify or edit them in Photoshop. To convert your files, we recommend using an online tool like EasyGIF or some other equivalent. You just upload your file and then the web app will convert it to any format you like. We use Adobe Stock Photos for additional content that we're going to place on the homepage. If you don't want to pay for Adobe Stock Photos, then we recommend using Unsplash or Pexels for some free stock photos. Depending on what you're looking for, you can actually find some really great images on the free options. Now that you have an idea of where to get your images, let's take a look at which types of images you might pick depending on the type of copy you're dealing with. So picking the best image to pair with your copy. The image you decide to pair with your copy will depend on what the goal of your copy is. Ultimately, there isn't a best type of image for a particular section of copy. This is a very situational choice that you will need to make based on your best judgment. You will find that over time, as you have more experience finding and creating images, this will come more naturally to you. So don't worry about it too much. To give you an idea of what we do, let's take a look and see what this process looks like for Mr. Neck. So for the benefits copy, here's what we wrote. Experience instant and long-term benefit. Instant neck pain relief, improved posture, relieves migraines. The Mr. Neck cervical traction device is effective against pinched nerves, muscle strain, neck stiffness, cervical neck spasms, and herniated discs. The thinking here is to have an image that would highlight the benefits in some way. One idea that comes to mind is an image of someone wearing the neck device with a list of all the benefits somewhere in the image in bullet point format. Now we have to find an image that correlates with this copy. Most likely it'll need some editing because I want to have a list of symptoms the device is effective against on the right side of the image. So I found this image. The image has a model wearing the product and highlights the neck area in red, which indicates neck pain. It also has a little bit of a before/after illustration on the right, which is kind of cool. But in this case, I'm actually going to have to edit out the before/after illustrations and replace it with a list of symptoms the device is effective in treating. This is more in alignment with what the copy is saying. If you haven't had experience editing images before, don't worry. I'll show you guys how to do it using Photoshop in the next section. However, if you don't want to learn Photoshop to edit images by yourself, you can hire someone on Fiverr to do the edits for you. They're super cheap, reliable, and relatively fast to get it done. So let's move on to the results copy. So here's what I wrote for the results copy in the previous section. Wear the Mr. Neck for just 15 minutes a day for pain relief that can last the entire day. Not only does it deliver instant relief, but you can see lasting results after daily usage. Wear it while working, traveling, or even relaxing. No need to disrupt your daily schedule. Typically with the results section, we like to include an image in a before and after format. By doing so, you're really emphasizing the power of your product. On top of that, we try and include some pain points on the before section in bullet point format, with their opposites in the after section. So here's an example of an image I found. Now this is a perfect high-resolution photo that has already gone through some professional editing. It features two side-by-side shots of a woman appearing in a side-by-side format. This is perfect for the before and after setup we had in mind. For this image, all we would really have to do is modify the text. Changing the font and perhaps the color of the bullet points would make it a little more interesting. Alright, so let's move on to the how does it work copy. So for the how does it work copy, I wrote, neck pain arises when there is decreased space between the intervertebral discs, which causes issues such as decreased blood flow and pinched nerves. Mr. Neck handles both problems by neutralizing the weight placed on your neck muscles, allowing them to stretch and relax. This increases the amount of space between your intervertebral discs, which relieves pinched nerves and encourages better circulation. A single session provides instant relief, and daily use contributes to a healthier posture and alignment of the cervical discs. This section of copy is centered around the science and technology behind the product. Typically, what we like to use here is a digitally rendered stock photo that is relevant to the product in some way. Since we're marketing a cervical neck device, a 3D rendering of a human body/spine would be perfect. And here's an image I found that's particularly interesting. Though this image overall is pretty interesting, we're really only interested in the top part. It includes a digitally rendered spine in red and someone grabbing their neck, suggesting that the image has something to do with neck pain. I'll edit this image in Photoshop to only include the top segment and then overlay a little text on top of it. So let's move on to the next section. Who is it for? So for the final section I wrote, if you sit at the computer often, travel frequently, or suffer injuries, then the Mr. Neck is perfect for you. It's been designed to keep your neck aligned during work, to be used as a travel companion on long drives and flights, and to help relieve pain caused by injuries. It's the perfect solution for anyone looking for neck pain relief. One potential idea here is to include an image where someone is wearing the neck device in a lifestyle setting. Maybe someone who's at the office working on some project or reading a book. Now after looking around, I was able to find the following image. This image is great. It shows a realistic scenario, someone working on their computer while wearing the neck brace, And at this point, I also thought it might be good to include a short list of other potential real-life scenarios in the image on the right. Now that we have everything mapped out, it's actually time to edit these images in Photoshop. And like I said before, if you don't want to edit them in Photoshop, you can just go on Fiverr and hire somebody. Alright, so that's it for this module. Let's move on to the next module where we're going to actually edit these photos in Photoshop.